Brian was living his best life, an electrician and family man with a son and a beautiful wife. One day, while teaching his son how to ride his bike, he got caught in the middle of a gang shootout. Unfortunately, a bullet hit his son. Now a normal reaction of a father of a wounded son who got struck by a bullet, Brian was driven into super rage and chased down the gang members. He interrupts one of the gang members by a swing of a pole into their car. Now this caught their attention. They retaliated by chasing down Brian. Finally, the leader of the gang confronts Brian and shoots him in the throat. Brian was rushed to the hospital. Unfortunately, he lost his vocal cords. He could no longer speak. Not only Brian lost his voice, he lost his son. After his loss, Saya, his wife, tries to help him with difficulty of recovering from the mental state of losing his son. It drove Brian for revenge. It is clear Brian is mentally focused in killing all the gangs involved in his son's death. The wife became emotionally supportive to Brian during his physical recovery. However, mentally he didn't recover. His mental state caused Saya to leave. It is clear Brian is mentally focused in killing all the gangs involved in his son's death. Brian went the distance going to the detective office to gather information on the gang and conducting reconnaissance on them. Over the course of the next year, Brian planned his revenge. He starts working out like a bodybuilder. Then he crosses over going to the shooting range and taught himself how to handle deadly weapons. He even taught himself how to drift a muscle car. Saya attempts to contact Brian to show she was worried, but Brian ignored her text messages. Brian launched his first assault by abducting a member of the Playa gang. He threatened him to provide information about the gang operations. However, the member fought back, but Brian subdued him. Later, he delivers him bound to Vassal's home, a detective who offered him help earlier after his son's death. He delivered him along with a Christmas card and a thumb drive of evidence. Brian continued to knock on the door of revenge by targeting a member of the gang, amputating his fingers and sending them to the gang leader, intimidating him. Ooh, yeah. On Christmas Eve, 2022, Christmas joy and celebration came early for Brian as he kills Playa's gang members one by one for the entire night, frequently stopping them in the middle of their misdeeds and fighting. After Brian strong-arms a cell phone from a thug who was using it to record a video of himself being killed and sending it to Playa. Playa sends a group text for his soldiers to meet him at his place. Brian takes the opportunity to ambush and wipes them out. As Brian battles his way to Playa, he gets into a fierce gunfight and fistfight, and Vassal confronts him. They both quietly set their arms aside and decide to cooperate to bring Playa to a close. Out of nowhere, Playa's drug-addicted girlfriend shoots both of them. Brian sneaks up on her and holds a gun to her throat. She sets down her rifle and pretends to give up, but Brian kills her when she shows off a secret sidearm and throws it at him. After killing her, Brian approaches Playa. Playa gains the upper hand in their gunfight and is ready to shoot Brian in the throat once more, but luckily Vassal shoots Playa. Brian then took the chance to finish him off. Bleeding out and dying, Brian and Vassal collapse to the ground and stare up at the Christmas lights and ceiling. In a different future in which he and Taylor are still alive, Brian sees reflections of his recollections of his time spent with Taylor. Saya finds a letter that Brian wrote to her, in which he expresses regret for his increasing distance from her and expresses gratitude for her love. Brian goes on to say that he will die trying, even though he knows no one can make Taylor's death right. Saya delivers the letter to Taylor's grave, to which Brian had earlier carried his unopened Christmas gift, a model train set, which he had constructed and arranged around the grave.